companies that set very high standards typically tend to get the wrong end of the stick when there is a miss or two in the quarterly numbers. And I reckon Havells is probably facing that today. Is it the gross margin impact or something else? Well, I think time will tell. But for now, let's just get in this Anil Rai Gupta to talk about how he thought the quarter fared and what are the pulls and pressures in the near term. Mr. Gupta, great having you. We hope all is safe. How do you rate the quarter? Because there evidently, I mean, on the revenue front, I don't think there is cause for any complaint, and probably the festive season does the trick for you. But maybe some issues or some pressures around the operational metrics.
No, I think Neeraj, we are very satisfied with the performance of the quarter. I mean, this is a continued growth performance. We've achieved almost 30% growth in volumes, in revenues, and almost 50% of that, unlike what general perception would be that the prices have gone up. Almost 50% is volume growth, so which is a fairly, I would say, strong indicator for us that the growth continues. And if you look at the CAGR over 2 years, that's also a very positive growth pattern. So that's a very healthy thing. I think as far as margins are concerned, despite the headwinds of the commodity prices, we have been able to pass on prices. We have been able to, but there is constant volatility in the raw materials, and hence there is some lag in passing on the prices, which we are quite confident over the next 1 or 2 quarters things should stabilize. But overall, on the margins front, also, the company continues to do strongly, because we believe that ours is more of a brand and distribution oriented company. We're deeply penetrated, so we are not really affected so much by the competitiveness or just too much of volatility. So generally the prices are passed on, but this last year has been too much of a pricing cost increase, and sometimes it becomes difficult to pass it on immediately. For example, when there's a situation of hyper competitiveness, like last 2 years, air conditioners saw degrowth because of the 2 seasons going away because of the lockdowns. So the inventory pile up with the industry, so the cost increases were not passed on. So there is some amount of pressure there. But again, as the season approaches, we should be looking at to stabilize our margins in every category. But I think you talked about the festive demand. This time it's not just the festive demand. This is actually we've seen some good growth in all segments. Real estate demand has been strong. Industrial and infra segment demand has been strong, as compared to last year, where it was just a pent-up demand from the consumer side. But this time it's all across categories. So it's a very positive development over the last few months.
So not just B2C, but B2B as well is looking strong.
That's right.
Okay, Mr. Gupta, just one more pickle, or maybe let's just talk about the demand first, and then something else. So you made this point about how it's probably not just the festive thing, but the real estate and the industrial demand is coming back. For most people that I hear, whether it's real estate companies or infra companies or capex related companies, they're all talking about this being the start of maybe a multi-quarter or a couple of years or multi-year run. Would it be safe to assume that B2B at least looks solid as things stand right now for you, for the foreseeable future?
At least what we can see, it looks to be strong. One, because we are coming out of a cycle of low investments in these sectors over the last many years. It's not COVID related. It's related to many reasons why the demand went down. Many of the industries, commodity industries like steel, cement, and real estate were under stress of debt. And in the last year, due to interventions of the government, but also due to the commodity cycle all across the world, things have improved for all these industries. So we definitely hope to see new investments coming in all these sectors, which augurs very well for products like ours. So I think cement, steel, real estate, all, and plus the continued government spending on infrastructure, that also would continue for some time. So we might be actually seeing this low growth cycle of the last 5 or 10 years to be coming out of that for the next few quarters and years.
That would be amazing for employment as well. Just wondering, till July, I believe you've taken consistent price hikes, maybe 10%, maybe 15% odd cumulatively, and they've been well absorbed. I understand from the opening answer that you gave that sometimes it's not easy to just price hike, pass on the price hikes immediately. Would you reckon, because of the fact that the market has absorbed your hikes thus far very well, that you would be tempted to, in order to protect margins, hike some prices in the near term?
I would not use the word tempted to. Sometimes one has to do it by force. Kind of a raw material or commodity increase we've never seen in our lifetimes. Almost metals increasing to double within 1 year. So those kind of costs have to be passed on. Certain costs, one can absorb because of higher efficiencies in manufacturing with increased volumes. But generally speaking, these have to be passed on. And that is the only concern that I have, is that, if it's such inflation, I hope the demand run continues. But thankfully, most of the cost price increases have been taken and have been absorbed. And I think, if there is stability now in the raw materials, hopefully there will be no major price hikes in the coming times.
Okay, two questions, Mr. Gupta, because you're just such a large player out there. There was some murmurs at the end of Q1 that the mammoth price hike that we'd seen in the price of raw materials had started to stabilize a bit. We've seen instances of steel companies, some of the other companies starting to hike prices as well, aided by what's happening globally in China too. What's your sense, Mr. Gupta, of how does this cycle play out? Because it's quite unlike what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, so it is, again, as I said, it's difficult to predict. As you rightly said, end of Q1, we were seeing some stabilization, but it didn't happen in Q2. Still, situation is not very comfortable. So let's see how it goes. It's difficult to predict. There are, supply constraints all across the world, whether it is in terms of coal or freight or, containers, production in China. So this inflationary trend could be continued for some time. Hopefully it's not volatile, but I don't see it as coming down in a hurry.
Okay, just a follow-up, because I wanted to ask you that so many companies, again, similar to your size in different industries in India, have said that this container freight rate costs, the availability, etc., has really hit them, either in terms of supply or in terms of costs as well. What is your experience, sir? Has it hit you as well in some fashion?
Well, I think for Havells, we are a little bit different because two reasons. One, primarily our major revenues come from the subcontinent in India. We are not highly dependent on either exports or imports. Because of the 95% of what we sell is manufactured in our own factories. So we are not really heavily dependent on imports. Yes, there are components and raw materials that we import, but it's not really affected us in a manner which it has affected other industries. Hopefully this should continue, and but of course going forward, I think this is again a one-time phenomenon. This should stabilize.
Okay. Well, I think I don't want to ask you about whether the metrics can stabilize in December. I think we'll probably know only when the quarter is over. Just one final question, Mr. Gupta. And a report noted that the initial shipments of the RAC exports kind of offer some confidence on the long-term prospects of the China Plus One strategy. And they were referring to you in particular. What are your thoughts here?
Well, again, I still feel that there is a huge opportunity for Indian manufacturing to have a decent market share in the global markets. But unlike commodities, our product categories require time to build brand and distribution. And that is, it's a slow process, but it is definitely moving in the right direction. And hopefully in the next few years, Indian manufacturing should gain out of this China Plus One strategy.
Great. Mr. Gupta, busy day for you, but thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to us, and all the best in these volatile times, and festive greetings to all of you in the Havells family.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me.